Students, today we will study the chapter The First War of Independence. The revolt of 1857 is often termed as the First War of Independence because for the first time in Indian history, different segments of the Indian society stood up against a common enemy that was the British. Why did such a revolt start in India? What led to this revolt? What were its results? We will all discuss in this chapter what were the causes and the consequences of this revolt. The British ruled India for about 100 years from 1757 to 1857. The British rule created dissatisfaction and distrust among the masses, which led to outbreaks and continuous uprisings in different parts of the country. In 1857, a major revolt occurred which shook the very foundation of British rule. It had vast participation of peasants, craftsmen, soldiers, artisans, nobles, and rulers. The revolt of 1857 is also known as a Sepoy Mutiny. Now, next is major causes of the revolt of 1857: political causes, social causes, economic causes, and military causes. First is the political causes. Doctrine of lapse. Lord Dalhousie policy of doctrine of lapse reduced many Indian rulers to a position of subordination. According to this policy, the British annexed the kingdom of a ruler who died without leaving a natural heir. Jhansi was annexed in 1854 when Lord Dalhousie refused to recognize the adopted son of the deceased ruler of the state as his successor. Then one more policy was their subsidiary alliance system. According to this policy, number of local rulers were forced to sign a treaty with the British. Under this, British interfered in the political affairs of the local kingdoms and stationed their troops in their territories. If the ruler failed to pay on time the cost of the British troops stationed in his state, those kingdoms were annexed by the British and led to widespread anger against the company. The next was the pension of Peshwa Bajirao to adopted son Nana Sahib was stopped by English company. Nana Sahib was also forced to live in Kanpur away from his family seat in Pune in an attempt by the company to end the rule of the Peshwas. One more was there. English company announced that after Bahadur Shah's death, his successors would lose their royal titles and would be known as only prince. So they would also have to leave their royal residence at the Red Fort and move to the outskirts of Delhi. Then these were the policies started by the government to annex the Indian state. The next is the social causes. Social causes like social reforms like abolition of sati and spread of Christianity. Uh, Britishers tried to interfere and disrupt the religious beliefs of the local people. The missionaries openly tried to convert people to Christianity and made public attacks on Hinduism and Islam. They also enjoyed the support of the British government. Then next was the British thought to bring some social reform in the society, like to abolish the practice of sati, legislation of widow remarriage, and opening of Western education to girls as a positive change. So this was like as an unwanted interference in the tradition and customs of the people on the part of the British. And next was the official policy of taxing lands belonging to temples, mosques, priests, and charitable institutions hurt the religious sentiments of the people and affected the families who were dependent on these lands for their income. Economic causes: ruining of industries and handicrafts, exploitation of natural resources and wealth. By abolishing duties on British goods and imposing heavy duties on Indian products, Indian industries and crafts were ruined by the British. India was converted into a market for the supply of raw materials to England and consumption of machine made products from England. by paying high salaries to the company's officials, both in civil and military administration in British India and princely states. India's wealth was drained away to England. Then next is the many zamindars were also forced to pay high land revenue. When they were unable to meet this demand, their zamindari rights were taken away from them and sold off. Then next was the peasants were subjected to payment of very high land revenues, which they were mostly unable to meet, since failure to pay the revenues would result in loss of their land. So most of the peasants were forced to take loans at high rate of interest from the money lenders. As the amount of debt kept increasing, most peasants either sold their lands and became landless laborers, or they fled to the forest. Then next is the military causes, low salaries to Indian soldiers and no chance of any promotion. The religious beliefs and customs of the sepoys were not treated with respect and sensitivity. In 1856, for example, the British government passed an act which made it compulsory for every new sepoy to serve abroad. This hurt the sentiments of the Hindu sepoys, as, according to the religious beliefs, travel across the seas was forbidden, that could result in the loss of their caste. Then British officers often treated the sepoys with the policy of discrimination. Indian sepoys were not given, were paid very less wages and made to stay in poor housing conditions. No Indian sepoy was promoted above the rank of the higher posts were reserved for the European officers. Immediate cause, use of Enfield rifle in the Indian Army. Company introduced Enfield rifle in the Indian Army. The cartridges of this new rifle had a greased paper cover, the end of which had to be bitten off before the cartridge was loaded in the rifle. The sepoys were convinced that the grease used on the paper cover was made of cow and pig fat. This enraged the Hindu and Muslim sepoys in the army, since they felt that this was a very bad attempt by the British to defile the religion and convert them to Christianity. So on 29th March 1857, Mangal Pandey, a Brahmin sepoy at Barakpur, refused to use the greased cartridge. When he was forced to do so, he flew up in the rage and killed two English soldiers. He was arrested and later on tried, and he was hanged. The execution of Mangal Pandey sparked of revolts in Meerut, Delhi, Kanpur, Jhansi, Lucknow, Awadh, Bareilly, Gwalior, and other places in northern and central India. The next is the rebellion spread. Main centers of the revolts were Delhi, Bahadur Shah Zafar; from Kanpur, Nana Sahib; Lucknow, Hazrat Mahal; from Bareilly, Khan Bahadur Khan; from Jhansi, Rani Lakshmi Bai; and from Ara, Kunwar Singh. After declaring a war against the British, the sepoys from Meerut rode all the way to Delhi, where they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as the Emperor of India. In the days and weeks that followed, more sepoy units rose up in the rebellion in parts of Awadh, Doab region, Bundelkhand, central India, Bihar, and Punjab, who openly challenged British authority. Many European officers were killed, even women and children were not spared. Government offices and other symbols of British authority were attacked and destroyed. Everywhere in north and central India, the mutiny of the sepoys encouraged the common people to revolt as well. Those people who did not participate directly in the revolt helped the rebels by providing them food and shelter. And which were the main centers of the revolt? From Delhi, where Bahadur Shah Zafar acted as a symbolic head of the revolt and the country; Kanpur, where Nana Sahib, the adopted son of last Peshwa Baji Rao II, led the uprising; The chief burden of fighting on behalf of Nana Sahib, however, fell on the shoulders of Tantya Tope, one of his most loyal servants. Then Lucknow, where Hazrat Mahal, the Begum of Awadh, actively organized the people to participate in the revolt. Then from Bareilly, where people revolted under the leadership of Khan Bahadur Khan. Jhansi, where Rani Lakshmi Bai led her troops against the British. Then Ara in Bihar, where Kuvan Singh, an old zamindar of Jagdishpur near Ara, was the chief organizer of the revolt. Suppression of the revolt. How the revolt was suppressed. Spread over a vast territory, widely popular among the people. The revolt was spread over a vast territory and was widely popular among the people. Therefore, it took the British nearly 2 years to completely wipe out the revolt. Bahadur Shah Zafar was imprisoned. Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was imprisoned and found guilty of rebellion after a lengthy trial. Later, he was exiled to Rangoon, where he died. His sons were captured and killed, and bringing the Mughal dynasty to an end. Rani Lakshmi Bai died in 1858 fighting the British troops. Nana Sahib was defeated in Kanpur, after which he escaped to Nepal in 1859. Tantya Tope escaped to the jungles of central India, where he continued fighting until April 1859 when he was captured. So by 1859, most of the leaders of the revolt had fallen one after the other and the revolt had lost its strength. The aftermath, impact of the revolt. What were the consequences of the revolt? Formal end of the Mughal dynasty. Revolt marked the formal end of the Mughal dynasty as the rulers of India. End to the misrule by English East India Company. It also brought to an end to the misrule by the English East India Company. Government of India Act of 1858 abolished the rule of English East India Company and brought India directly under the control of British Crown. The Governor General would now be known as the Viceroy. Viceroy means the personal representative of the Crown. The army was organized. Sepoys were to be recruited not only from the regions of Awadh, Bihar, and central India, but from other regions as well. In order to prevent a feeling of unity among the soldiers, the number of Indian sepoys in the army was decreased and number of European soldiers was increased. Now the recruitment would be from the Gurkhas, Sikhs and the Pathans. No interference in the social and religious practices of people. Support and help extended by a number of Indian princes in the revolt was appreciated and they were assured that there would be no further annexation of their territories and they will not interfere in the social and religious practices of people. Now the last topic is causes for the failure of the revolt. Why this revolt failed? Confined to certain areas. The revolt was confined to certain areas and did not spread all over India. The revolt did not spread all over India. It was confined mainly to the northern parts. It was not supported by all groups and sections of the Indian society. Many Indian rulers refused to help the rebels and actually helped the British in suppressing the revolt. Indian leaders were not organized. The Indian leaders were not organized and trained. They lacked unity and foresight. No proper planning. They didn't have a proper plan as the revolt started very early than what they had planned. The date fixed for the commencement of the revolt was May 31, 1857, but it started much earlier, thus leading to disorganization among the rebels. There was no unity of action and proper organization among the revolutionaries, and they had no common plan of action and there was no coordination. Outdated weapons. They used very outdated weapons. Whatever few weapons existed were outdated and were of no match to the modern weapons of the British people. The educated Indians remained loyal to the British due to their selfish intentions. One more important it, Sikh Gorkhas and Rajputs remained loyal to the British and even actively helped